Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 17th of June, 8:30 a.m. EST. We're taking a look here at the NASDAQ, and boy, oh boy, did I ever call this move. I'm on a roll here, everybody. Price has made its way down, and it did. I figured it would do it sooner or later. This is right off the Monday afternoon, Monday, evening market forecast for the week. And you can see that I predicted price would head down, possibly to grab this gap, which means it may head down further before it heads up. Today is the FOMC as well, right? So this is when we talk about the rates. So we might see price jerk down and grab that area as the data gets announced. And I believe that's at 2 p.m. EST. We'll check on that in just a minute. Before we get too far into the show here, like, subscribe, go into the description. There is a free algo. Get the free algo. All right. It's something where you see me build an algo. It's a video. I build an algo. I show you how it's done. I use Grok to turn it into code, which you can use any AI for that. And then I show you the tools traders use connected to the broker so it can trade without them being there. For an agentic trading bot, you're going to need an algo. That's the engine. This algo needs to be optimized so you don't just plug and play. We teach you how to do that at algofactory.tech, right? So there you go. Check it out. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. But this is what I expect. Until the data comes out today, this might just kind of not do a whole lot. We'll see. Again, I think we might just see price grab that area around the time of the FOMC. Let me just double check the time on that. Yeah, 2 p.m. EST. Okay, so there's not much to talk about until then, right? We have the all-time high, we have some structure, we have price probably not doing much until then. This will be a short show altogether. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin now has come down to the level that I talked about before. It's just a local structural level, not that important. Will it continue to sort of bounce and grind up? Well, a lot is going to depend on FOMC today, right? But just to look at the algos, I would say that, we might see price head down. Again, I do expect it to eventually head down. It might just go ahead and start that today. It might be that it grabbed all the liquidity it needed to out of this orange area, and it just starts to head down. So we have to add that as a possibility. Usually you get kind of a pop up before it heads down. That's usually how it goes, but it could just simply go down. It's as simple as that. We'll see about it. It's not that important. As far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is in the beginning of, or even partway through, its bear market. So as far as investment is concerned, I would be looking to buy this maybe in Q4 if I'm going to hold any Bitcoin over the next bull market. If I'm going to trade it, I would be looking for price to eventually break short and look for shorts if I'm not going to scalp it on the way up here. So we'll see what happens with it, though. It could just also sort of, continue down, right? So all of these potential paths aim towards it's going to probably break down at some point, right? It's just a question of, is it now or later? Let's see what else I got time for. Go running through these charts pretty quick today. So let's take a look at USD CAD. Okay. Kind of pretty much following what I said, right? There was a breakdown early, and then it's going to probably grind up. So it is for now going to stay above this level right here at 139.96. It did dip below, though. You see that it grabbed liquidity down here. But for now, it does appear like it will grind upwards. And again, I would be looking for longs. Yeah, I probably got a signal here this would have been while I was asleep. It's pinging now. One of my algos actually is pinging for a long, but I don't want to go long at this point unless I can get a clear signal down here at that same line I just discussed, this blue line there. If the price can come back down and give me a clear signal, pretty much as I drew right there, or if price breaks above 142.45, which is right here, this blue line. And then I might look to take a long up to this target. But I probably won't be doing any of that until the FOMC comes out today. All right. It's just, price is probably going to remain pretty calm between now and 2 EST, right? So that's about 5.5 hours of we don't know what's going to happen, and it's probably not going to do much. But this is definitely a bullish pattern here if you look at it. What you have here is it's a higher time frame uptrend, to be sure. And then in the short term, you have higher lows right here. And then you sort of have the same high being met. It's not really going much lower every time it rejects. So that type of pattern is a bullish look. So it's probably going to break up, and it probably will later today or tomorrow. So if the opportunity presents itself after FOMC, I might consider taking that long. Euro is just literally like doing exactly what I said it would do. So I have no reason to change my mind on that at this time. The Aussie risk here, I've talked about this, and it's a trade that I just kind of left on. And at this point, I would probably at least have a stop to entry, take off some of the profit. I know it hasn't gone that far in a profit, but today being FOMC is a day that I might consider just managing that trade and taking a stop up to entry. It's just, it's just a day to be conservative, right? So I'll put a mark here. Where's my type in? I'll do a call out. Oops. Let's do this. So we'll go with a stop to entry. Okay. Okay, apologies for that. Now we're going to take a look at gold and silver. Well, there you go. Gold looking like it is going to do pretty much what I said. Eventually, it may break above. I bet it's waiting for the FOMC to make a move, though. But not a lot going on with gold right now. It's either going to go sideways or up, just what I said it would do on Monday. We've got silver doing exactly what I thought it would do, just going right along the path, you guys. So I'm pretty much calling these things out like right as I see them. It really is just kind of going along with what my guess was, guys. Guess or forecast, however you want to put it. So, I mean, that's like the full group of stuff that I do on a Monday, and it's all just like mapped out there for you. I'm not really worrying so much about the Japanese yen pairs. Remember that they're going to protect their currency, and it's hard to know when they're going to nuke it, right? And they don't like the Japanese yen to get above 160. And it does seem that this is where they are making their moves. They did hike their rates on Monday, which should soften this up and allow them to do this. But if you look at all these nasty, nasty wicks down, like here, 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 all these wicks down are them injecting liquidity into their market. What they're doing is they're selling like US dollars to like forex reserves, basically, to buy Japanese yen, which is going to directly impact this. And they're doing it like in huge amounts. So hiking the rates might have softened that up, but that's how they're going to control the price for now. And every Japanese yen pair is going to be difficult to predict for this reason, but especially USDJPY might be tradable with like AUDJPY, or the Beast might be tradable. I'll start to kind of monitor the Beast, but you're still going to get these big moves. You're still going to get these nasty interruptions like these right here. So that it's just a little bit unpredictable for my taste. My numbers are all based on metrics that I developed during times when this is not happening, right? So for me to try and trade this is going to put me in unpredictable waters, which means my entire model is unreliable at that point. So I'm fine. There's lots of stuff to trade. I'll trade something else. Let's look at USDCHF. I drew this, I think, on like Tuesday. I see no reason to change it right now, right? So British pound. I drew this, and these two currencies, I'm not going to trade it. They're very choppy. I see no reason to change this path and prediction. I see no reason to trade them either. Oil's interesting, though. Oil has definitely gone low. I've been wondering if 80 is the new normal, right? But the Iran news seems to be reflecting that price can and will go below 80. We'll see how long it stays there, right? It's a nice place for a price to settle in the in this area. We'll see how it goes. Lower oil is in some ways good, right? What really would help the entire industry is just a price that is predictable with less volatility. That would help the industry because then they could plan, right? So that's pretty much all of the charts that we look at. I will take a brief look at the DXY just to get a feel. Of course, I plotted this out. I don't trade the DXY. I don't even know. I'm sure it's tradable somewhere, but I like to look at this on a very high time frame. And I do see the dollar getting more bullish, stronger, but is that going to be enough to break this we'll say multi-year, going back to a year ago. So this year-long consolidation where the central bank policy has more or less converged, right? Well, the Europeans did just hike their rate. And will the US do so today? We don't know. We're going to find out. And will it even change this? We don't know. This is a very high time frame chart. As of now, it is kind of bullish. It's had time to sort of reset after the major dollar move, going from May 21 all the way to October 22. So we'll see about it. I like to look at that broad look, right? And for now, the dollar is appearing to be bullish. We'll see if that plays out. Last chart of the day will be stock AEM at request. Agnico Eagle Mines Limited. I got your message there, Mick. Yeah, trade as you will. All right, so this is a mining stock. I don't know anything about this company. I only can see the charts. It had done great going from October 23 through February 26. So massive move. It's in a nice pullback right now, but this isn't a pullback that could extend. It's really hard to know when this pullback would end, right? If I go to the daily chart, yes, there's some bullishness here. If you're looking for a long-term hold, maybe it's a good spot to buy. I don't know. I don't have enough data to confidently say that right now. What I think is going to happen on a higher time frame, though, is that this is going to need more time to sort of reset itself. I don't know that this is going to be the best long-term hold at the moment, right? This is a monstrous move. So these big moves tend to have big pullbacks. They don't just go up and then not come down. Now they can, but it tends not to be the case. So what I would do is, outside of any news or something, again, I'm a chartist, so I don't trade or hold stocks. So I always have to make room for the fact that I don't know what this company is doing, right? If they have some major deal and their entire paradigm changes, then of course, yes, this can just continue to go up. So, there is that. But it looks like my fixed range indicator is going to take its time today, so we may not have that tool at our disposal. Let's see. Okay, there we go. You just have to look at liquidity nodes to see where it may go. As it stands right now, I don't have the confidence that it's ready to go up outside of some major deal that I don't know about. But if I were to pick some areas where price would want to go in order to grab liquidity, here are some of the most likely price points, right? 246, which is where it is more or less, all the way down to about 221. Now, if it breaks below that, then you're looking at like 160 to 170. In that area, it's going to want to go there to grab price. But it moved up massively. It probably needs to reset. And outside of a major deal, I don't know that I would be interested in catching something that is, resetting after what is this? It started out, this big move started from 60, went all the way up to 340. You're looking at a ×5 ×6 move going on since 2024, right? So this is FOMO in a way, right? This is some kind of company expansion or something or other, and that looks like, this is definitely a top pattern. So I would let this sort of percolate for a minute before I did any long-term holds on that. So that's it, though. That's what we're going to do for the show today. Thank you all for watching. In the short term, you did get a gap up here. This is on the open. So, gaps tend to be filled. So the price at some point may come back down to grab this area right here in this gap, which is 230 to 238, right? And as of now, it is in a downtrend, and that's a massive head and shoulders. Although it's a downward sloping head and shoulders low, what that means is that it might not go as low as many people think it would. But what you do have is you have a clear downtrend. You have lower highs, lower lows, right? So until that downtrend breaks and turns into an uptrend, that's kind of a very clear price action, old school way of saying, okay, it's still headed down, right? Once you start to see higher highs and higher lows, then you might be in a situation where, okay, we might be able to buy this, and that's on the 3-hour chart, right? That goes back all the way to February in this particular case. That's a pretty good level of trend to watch, right? So I wait for a few different things before I purchase this stock if it were a long-term hold. Thank you all for watching. As you can see, last week and even this week, even with all the news, so far the predictions are playing out perfectly, right? And this happens like a lot of weeks are great. I'd say most weeks are profitable, that's for sure. You have your occasional week where some news happens and the plans change, but even this last few weeks through the news, the predictions continue to be correct and profitable. We're kind of the best kept secret here on YouTube, and I literally went through like all the charts that I normally go through just because it's a fast day, and I'm not going to trade anything until after FOMC. So thank you all for watching. Link in the description, free algo, go check that out. And we'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. EST, and most of the news will be done by then. So should be able to have a good time trading. Thanks for coming on. Again, SGCS4NN, and we will see you all tomorrow, bright and early. Don't forget.
Join us or die.